Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. I'm TCaptainX. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 SMGs in Warzone after the Season 4 update. We do have a brand new SMG in the game right now, and a lot of different buffs and nerfs to different SMGs, so the meta did get shaken up quite a bit. Now to do this, we're going to be using the website that I helped found, ggs.ai. That is ggs.ai. And what this is, in case you don't know about this, is we have created an AI algorithm that ranks all of the top guns and scores them. And we can sort by many different categories. We can apply different play styles, all sorts of stuff. It is a very powerful tool that I encourage you guys to check out yourself as well. A new feature we just added that I think is going to really shake things up, I'm very excited about, is the Score My Build feature. This is a premium feature. I do want to kind of let you guys know that it's very expensive for us to run this website because of how much data there is. It's very computationally heavy. So our premium it's $9 a month or $69 for an entire year. But one of the features you get with this is you can add your own build. So for example, I'll add, I don't know, the BP50 here, and you're basically going to go through and you would add all of your different attachments here. So ammunition, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a build together or something super random here. Magazine, 45, throw an optic, I don't know, rear grip. Whatever that is, sure. Name it BP50 test. If you're a content creator, you could link it to your YouTube video if you wanted to. We'll submit it. And then once it's submitted, you can hit score this build. You would characterize it. So this would probably be like a close range build. We'll call it balanced. I kind of just randomly threw this build together. It's going to compute here. This might take maybe up to like a minute or so at the longest. If it's taking a long time, if the traffic's high on the website, you can close out of this and come back to it though. And bam, it is now done. We can throw it on here. And this ranks a 7.83 out of 10 for the overall score, but you can look at how it ranks on different play styles. So balanced, aggressive, casual, tactical. Balanced generally tends to be, again, balanced. Aggressive, more mobility focused, TTK focused. Casual is more focused about low recoil. Tactical is similar to casual, but also stresses the importance of being suppressed. So that's kind of a quick summary of what those different play styles are. This will also give you all sorts of different stats here on the gun. We will soon be adding a feature where you're going to be able to compare your different custom builds here and look at stats side by side right here though. But what I think is actually the coolest thing about this is if we go to the community builds tab, we can look at what everyone else is submitting and where they're ranking. And of course, you can see the loadouts as well for it. We can of course filter that by different weapon types. And we will be planning on adding even more features here, hopefully where we can compare guns right from here, maybe sort by close range, long range, etc., etc. But in the meantime, we're going to go back to the weapons page here, and I've got this sorted by meta through B tier because I don't really care if these guns are C, D, and F because then I'm not going to use them. We're going to just go by the overall play style, which is an average of the 4. We're going to look at close range, obviously, for today's video, and I've got it sorted to SMGs, pistols, and assault rifles. Now, you can also sort by more things, but for the purpose of today's video, I'm just going to sort by the meta score, as that's kind of the most important overall stat here. So you will see the new SMG, the Superi 46, is ranking at a 9.97 out of 10. It's really freaking good. The WSP9 is ranking second at a 9.57 out of 10. BP50 conversion kit is the only other close range meta. After these top 3, I think these top 3 are very accurate to what is the top 3 SMGs / ARs close range in the game right now. After this, it kind of gets like there's a lot of gray area and it kind of depends on your preference and stuff like that. What I would say is I'm going to probably put the Striker 45 at number 4, and that is just because it's such a good low recoil option, and especially with the Kar 98 coming, it's a great sniper support option. A lot of other options down here, but I'm actually going to put something that might surprise you guys in at what I would consider number 5. That is the Lachmann Shroud with the conversion kit. That is a new attachment because it has an insanely fast time to kill. If we scroll down here, we're going to look at the time to kill chart. I'm going to look at the expected time to kill because that factors in things like recoil, also open bolt delay in the case of the WSP9. We've got the range adjusted to 35 meters. Check how fast the time to kill of the Lachmann Shroud is in the red line here. 0.55 millisecond time to kill, much faster than a lot of these other ones. The downside is the Shroud has amazing TTK, but a lot of its other stats aren't very good. So that's why it's not like a S tier meta, but it's still going to be a great option. Now I'm going to hide that just for so we can look at this a little bit easier. You will see the Superi 46, which is the new SMG in the blue line here, has great TTKs, a very competitive close range. It's a .63. And then at long range, still very solid TTKs as well. Now the WSP9 in the orange line is still probably the #2 kind of meta option right now. It has an open bolt delay. So if we go back to just paper TTK, you're going to see that orange line, it jumps up a lot faster. They did nerf its range slightly. So it used to be like an 18 or 19 meter range. Now that range hits a little bit quicker at about 16, but still very solid range for an SMG. The BP50 in the purple line here is also kind of neck and neck. And if we go back to expected TTK, you'll see that it is actually faster than both the WSP9 and the Superi. And then I've got the Striker 45 in the green line, and I've got that in there because it's just so low recoil, great damage per mag, great sniper support option. Now we have several other charts you can look at here. We can look at the damage per mag chart, how much damage you can do before you have to reload, bullet velocity chart. Not as important for SMGs, but for ARs and snipers, very important. If we scroll down here, the weighted expected time to kill, if you want just one stat that tells you how good a gun is, this is probably it when it comes to its damage. And the Superi 46 is the fastest one. Basically, this takes into account everything like recoil, accuracy, TTK, range, etc. And it says, what TTK can you expect? Superi 46 is ranking #1. We can also do things like add in sprint to fire time. We can add in the ADS time. And this matters for certain guns, especially like the AMR9 or the RAM9 that have slower sprint to fire times. Plenty of more charts to look at here. Damage output, how many downs you can expect per magazine, average accuracies, hit scan range. And then if we continue to scroll down here, we have all of our different guns here with their builds and a ton more stats. Now, let me give you the kind of quick summary of these, of each gun. Superi 46, probably overall going to be the best SMG in the game for right now. Solid TTKs, but amazing mobility, good damage per mag, good recoil. It kind of checks all your boxes. WSP9 though will still have amazing handling. If we look at the sprint to fire time, it is incredibly fast sprint to fire time, very high damage per mag, good TTKs. Again, it's going to be right there with the Superi, but I would probably put the Superi on top. The BP50 actually has better TTKs than both of these guns, but it does use AR ammo, so that could be a concern potentially depending on what you're running it with. And I mean, overall, it's kind of right there too. I think these top three are like hands down. You can't go wrong with any of these three. After that, I think the Striker 45, if you want just low recoil, good range, a good sniper support, Striker 45 is probably your best option. And if you just want purely really fast TTK, but you don't care about some of these other things like mobility, the handling of it, reload times, the Lachmann Shroud would be a great option to use as well. Now, I do want to point out here really quick, what about the Striker 9? Well, it got nerfed very hard in this update. This is the Superi 46 in blue, and the green is now the Striker 9. The Striker 9 used to have a near identical TTK to the blue line here, and now it is much slower. So unfortunately, Striker 9 not really worth using anymore. A few other guns I want to mention. The FJX Horus is kind of another honorable mention. You could argue it maybe at #4 or #5. Very solid TTKs, a little faster than the Superi, but it has a lot of recoil. So I just don't think it's really worth using with how much more recoil it has. And then one other to talk about, the Rival 9. Rival 9 did get a small buff in today's update. It's decent. You could again argue it maybe at like a #5, #6, but I just don't see much of a reason running it over any of these 5 SMGs that I already mentioned. Alrighty, I bet half of you guys skipped straight to this part in the video. So if you did that, go like the video for me. I know you did. I'm watching you. Anyways, this is the Superi 46. This is the new SMG, which is probably the best overall SMG in the game. You would have known that if you didn't skip to the video. Anyways, this is going to be kind of my like balanced, aggressive build a little bit. Using the Zem compensated flash hider, generally this is the best muzzle for recoil control because it helps a lot with that vertical kick. Also shortens the ping on the minimap, which is kind of nice. Now, this gun has an amazing attachment, which is the Rescue 9 stock. This thing gives you amazing bonuses. It gives you tons of mobility and recoil control, and the negatives are like not that big of a deal. So this thing makes this gun stupid fast, and I think basically is like the fastest mobility SMG in the game. So you 100% should be using this stock on basically all your builds. 40 round mag is as big as we've got. It's a slightly slower shooting gun though, so that is okay. High grain to add a little bit more range. And then I like the XRK Edge hand stop because this one gives us a lot of mobility and handling. You could totally go DR6 instead. Basically, the difference between these two is that the DR6 gives you a little bit better handling, but not as good mobility. But the differences are really tiny. Personally, I like the XRK Edge, especially because it helps our strafe speed quite a bit. Now, a few other options here. If you want to stay suppressed, what I would probably do is just switch the Zem for the Sonic. This right here would probably be fine because the recoil is not bad, but if it's too much recoil, take off the high grain, put on something like the sock and rear grip. This would be a very good balanced kind of suppressed build. If you want to use it as more of a sniper support build, you could add some range to this by going with the Hound Guard heavy barrel. This gives you a lot more range, and if you want even more range, you could swap like the underbarrel for something like high grain, and with this combo, you actually have a crazy good range for an SMG and bullet velocity, so hint, hint, good sniper support to use with the Kar 98. And next, coming in at number 2, we have the WSP-9 SMG. Very nearly as good as the Superi, but the Superi is going to have just better mobility overall. If you want to use a optic, this is my recommended build that is kind of a general like balanced mobility type of build. If you want to stay, now if you have this blueprint, this is the fossilized blueprint, is kind of pay to win. I made a video on it previously. You don't really need the optic, and then you can add something like the factory stock here, and this gives you a super duper low recoil, and then we don't really need to run Zem, run the Sonic, stay suppressed. This build is amazing. If you want to make it more of a sniper support, switch this to the Reckless here. You want to even, you know, probably want to use an optic on this for a sniper support. Bam, a great sniper support build right here. And coming in at number 3, we have the BP-50 assault rifle. I know it's an assault rifle, not an SMG, but with the conversion kit, it basically makes it an SMG. This build still very good. Mobility is not going to be quite as good as it used to be, as that did get a small nerf, but the TTKs are actually better, both Superi and the WSP-9. So the only option I would say here is you can run Zem instead of Cassis, but I think the Cassis is better because the gun is mostly horizontal recoil. Laser, you have several different options. The Kimura is very visible when you ADS it, but it helps a ton with like your handling, which is very important. But another one that is very good is if you like to be able to hip fire this a little bit and still have good sprint to fire, this Verdant hook is also really good because it helps to hip fire a lot. And then another one, if you just want really good sprint to fire and it not to be really visible, the Solar Flare laser is pretty much not visible. It's just a flashlight, but helps your sprint to fire quite a bit. Coming in at number 4, we have the Striker, not the Striker 9. This is the Striker 45, technically. This is going to be kind of a balanced do-it-all type build. If you don't mind the iron sights, you can run this as a sniper support or a close range gun, either or. Very good range with this build, decent mobility, decent recoil as well. If you're not a big fan of the iron sights, I'd probably say take high grain off here, throw on an optic. We could make this even a lower recoil by switching the underbarrel for something like the Lachmann Recon series stock, and even lower recoil by going to the Zem. This is an ultra low recoil build if that's what you're looking for. And number 5, if the only thing you care about is time to kill, the Lachmann Shroud does that, but it's not very good in the mobility and handling department. The conversion kit, Jack Decimator, turns this into a fully auto SMG, so it's basically like the Lachmann sub, like the MP5 of old days. The attachments are kind of weird on this. The barrels I don't really feel like are really that worth running because of some of the negatives. XRK Edge, ammunition, any of these 4, kind of up to you. They don't really do a whole lot, to be honest. I was going Solar Flare for faster sprint to fire, but again, you could run some of these other lasers like the Verdant for hip fire, or the Kimura for faster ADS. And yeah, this is kind of the build. Very quickly, because I know people will ask me, this is what I would recommend if you want to use the FJX Horus. This is really favoring recoil control because the gun doesn't have great recoil to begin with, and the iron sights are horrendous. They did also just add a 60 round mag, but you can't unlock it. So maybe that's coming in the near future, or maybe this is just a bug. And then in case you want to run the Rival 9, this is probably what I'd recommend. It's kind of a slightly aggressive build. A lot of different ways you can run it. Now, the conversion kit did get buffed, and I think this will make it a valid sniper support type build. But it's just kind of a weird gun because it's like this weird burst auto type thing. It's good. I don't think it's meta, but just throwing that out there. Alrighty, guys, that is going to wrap things up. Again, check out our website, ggs.ai. I know it's a little bit pricey. I'm sorry. Forgive me. It's expensive to run it. I wish I could make everything free, but I'm trying my best. I will probably be doing top ARs tomorrow, hopefully, if all goes well. Already posted my Car 98 loadout. If you need that, come check out live streams here on YouTube. Goodbye.